Welcome to this amazing episode of Trauma Rock Stars. I'm so excited to introduce you to Steve-O. William Stevens, but he is a retired U.S. Army Sergeant First Class, but he's also an author of several books and an advocate, and he speaks for vets. And he has a platform, Voices of the Voiceless, which is incredible, which we'll talk about, is also your podcast, which is Fall Rock Run. And he is a 5 times combat vet. So thank you. Thank you so much for your service. And I'm so glad to have you on here. You coach, you mentor people, inspire people with your story. When did this all happen that you started doing this advocacy? Was it after you retired from the Army?
Actually, after I retired from the civilian, well, after I got fired from the civilian government. People don't know I got fired from the civilian government after 16 years for PTSD.
Okay.
Yeah, so like,
That
I
they caused, right?
what?
PTSD that they caused?
No, I've had it, ever since I got out of the military. I think I've had it since a child because like I've had a
Mhm.
terrible child upbringing, but I don't know. I told my boss that I didn't want to work in the same office with him because I didn't agree with his policies and stuff. And you don't just come into the office and go, "What the F are you doing here? I told you not to come in on the weekends," but I had a project that I had to get done. So I'm like, "Well, I'm working on a project." And he's like, "Well, it's the weekend and it's a holiday, and I told you not to come in here." And he started like going off on me. And I said, "Well, good morning, or, how you doing would have been great. But I guess you don't understand when you talk to people that have mental health issues or PTSD, something could have happened over the weekend, or, like, you could trigger somebody." And I said, "Well, it's only you and me in this office, and if you say something to me derogatory again, one of us is not going to leave here." Sent an email to EEO and said, "Look, I don't like this guy. I don't want to work with this guy. I want, it's called, I had to file for, what's it called? Accommodation. I had to file for reasonable
Like
accommodation."
special
Yeah.
accommodation?
They basically went back and told my boss that, I was talking about him, and it's almost like EEO was against me.
I was gonna say, isn't that supposed to be confidential?
Yeah, kind of almost a conflict of interest too. So, but
Mm.
when I told him that I didn't want to work in the same office with him, I was greeted about an hour later with like 5 Department of Defense police officers. So
Oh
they
my
came
gosh.
to the office on a Monday morning when everybody was gone, and they said, "We want your credentials, we want your laptop, and we want you to leave." And I'm like, "Okay." Yeah, I was very nice. I gave them everything. I'm like, "Look, I'm working on a project." They're like, "Well, that project is gonna have to wait." So then they were like, "You need to turn around," and they were like, "We need to handcuff you." And I'm like, "No, you're not going to handcuff me." I said, "You already embarrassed the GS-15 in this command for having, like, he was a dean of a college and didn't tell them." So they handcuffed him and walked him out in front of all his peers. And I said, "Well, I know there's people here. You're not going to walk me out, embarrass me." I said, "Well," he said, "Well, you can come peacefully or we'll use force." And I said, "Well, I'm just going to walk out." So when I
Yeah.
hallway, there were 5 more others. So there was 10 DOD police officers there for me, just little old me. So I said, "Well, I'll just go out the side door." So I went out the side door. I think I was home for about 3 months. One of my friends called me and said, "Hey, man, I think you should file for disability uh, retirement from the government because, like, a rumor has it they're going to fire you." And I'm like, "What do you mean? Was it?" I started filing in January. I was working with a female over in Hawaii. They were still doing the COVID thing. She worked in Maryland, but she was in Hawaii working from home.
Mhm.
And I would work with her late at night, like 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And we would, piece my thing together. And working for the government, I knew how to, like, have you ever seen, like, when you present something that you, like, put papers like this, you stack it on top and turn it the other way just so it's presentable,
Yeah.
when you read. So I presented my packet. I overnighted my packet, like, by air to Office of Personal Management. And they were like, "This is the best packet we've ever seen," like, presented, you know.
Mm.
The only thing that was wrong with it, I think, was some insurance stuff for my kid. So
Mhm.
approved, and they were like, "We're just waiting for your denial of Social Security or reasonable accommodation." I was like, "Okay, well, I can get that." So I think it was April 28th. I received an email and they said, "You were fired." And I'm like,
After you presented this?
"No, no, no, no." They didn't know. So I went behind the government that I was
Gotcha.
I don't want to say the agency, but it was one of the DOD. So I went behind them and filed retirement because I
Okay.
knew going to eventually get terminated. But I didn't think, I thought they were going to bring me a very, very over a top secret. And a way the policy is, you're supposed to be debriefed in person.
Okay.
Well, they just fired me over an email and said, don't come back. So I sent that email to Office of Personal Management and they were like, okay. So like maybe August. So I sat at home. I didn't do anything. And that's when I started writing The Broken Mirror. That's when May 4th, Star Wars Day, is the day that I started talking to my phone and started writing The Broken Mirror. And there were a couple people that I was following online, like podcasters,
Yeah.
that guys. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to be an advocate. I said, I got divorced. I had a terrible marriage. I'm on all kinds of pills. My kid don't like me. I call my kid names, so I need to do something. I need to do.
Yeah, you said you were mentally abusive at one point.
Yeah. So my kid was
Yeah.
already living in Florida, and I believe her mom hadn't moved yet. So I reached out, and I guess in August, yeah, in August, I was approved for my DOD retirement.
Wow.
So I'm getting my disability from the government, like from the Army, from the VA. I'm getting my Army retirement after 20 years and 16 years. So they beeped it out to 20 years. So I have like 40 years with the civilian, with the military and the civilian government. So
Mhm.
between you and me, I make more in my civilian retirement than regular retirees do in the government.
Right, right,
So, and I told them, I sent them an email and said, uh, karma's the bitch. And they took that as a threat and they banned me from DOD installations. Yeah. So I had to fight for that because when I was out on my RV, I went to a military installation and they took my ID card because I didn't know I was banned. So long
right.
short, I wrote The Broken Mirror. It came on Halloween 2024. It came out. Yeah. When I sold my house for 300,000 and I bought an RV and I was out on the road. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start doing a podcast, but I'm not going to do it like live, face to face like this. I'm going to do it like virtually or like voice,
Yeah.
audio podcast. And I would do the podcast when I'm driving to different states in my RV, like late at night. I would tell them, like, the best time to record is like 8 or 9. I'm on the road, but I didn't tell them I was on the road because you don't see me anyways. So
Yeah.
season one was really good. And then I started season two last year. And now season three is starting now. And two and three are video. And like I said, we just had you and it was amazing. So,
I
but
love that you are taking all of this and now you've got this platform for vets. You've got not just your podcast, but your books, which are inspiring for them, but you're doing all this for vets because I think I told you my father and my boyfriend are both vets. My boyfriend's actually a combat vet like you. And they're just so forgotten. Veterans are so forgotten. And it's so pathetic. That it shouldn't be like that. And what being in the military like has done, like you said, you probably had PTSD before even getting into it, and it just probably exasperated everything, being in service. And it's so inspiring. What do you, and I know we've talked about this, but the listeners haven't talked about this. What do you use for coping mechanisms about?
I used to be on 10 bottles of pills.
Yeah.
So they prescribed me 3 times a day. So it was almost like 48 pills a day.
I was going to say, and she say it was 40 something a day.
48 pills a day. Yeah. So
Yeah. It's insane.
two, but I do have three just in case I have borderline diabetes. So
Yeah.
I'm on I'm on fluoxetine and high blood pressure ran in my family.
Mhm.
My blood pressure. All
Yeah. I think everyone's family.
so I have high blood pressure pills. So everything else, and I've been with my therapist for almost since 2008, almost 20 years now. He told me that between him and and I don't even know who my primary healthcare manager is because like one day it's a woman, next day it's a man, and he's actually the chief psychiatrist, so he prescribes everything to me. So
Hmm.
I do have some medicine for gout in case because my mom has hereditary in my left foot, completely in shape except for my little belly. But like most people that have gout have like fat legs or feet or something. But I have a flare up sometimes, so I have that. But I use the ice beanie.
Yes. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, I have the ice beanie that I can freeze or refrigerate. I even bought a pink one for my kid for when she's has meltdowns.
Is it
Uh,
for headaches or
yeah,
just anxiety or
yeah, headaches. So they prescribed me like Tylenol, but if you look, you got to look at the medicine you take because some medicine you take counteracts with other medicine.
Yes.
And they don't tell you that because, like, in The Mirror and The Broken Mirror, both books are approved by the PRB, the Pentagon Review Board, because
Mhm.
I called out the VA, but I didn't say the VA, but I said the system for overprescribing. A lot of veterans are dying now for overprescribing. That's the way they end their life. But I use cooling blankets. Like I have the real thin one, and then I have the heavy one. Still have not your TJ Maxx cooling pillows because like they have those pillows at TJ Maxx that cost like $20. Cooling pillows are like $100. When the dog can lay on the pillow, there's something going on there. I used to have a cat, but when I moved here, they made me get rid of my cat. So when I was living in my RV, I had all that. And then I do red light therapy. Like right now, I have red light tracks that I built in my room here where I live. And then
Mhm.
fans that I built that have red lights built into them. So when I was at Walter Reed, I did like was it it's kind of like a reaction thing, red and white lights. So, and then people wear red glasses. You ever seen
Mhm.
wear the red lens glasses? That
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, they're like a ultraviolet type red glasses. You see them sometimes. Like, have you ever watched Simon Cowell on?
Yeah.
He wears the red glasses.
I just watched his one of his shows over the weekend, actually.
Was he wearing red glasses?
Now that you mention it, yes.
Yeah. So he wears red
I
glasses.
didn't even realize it.
It's a therapy thing.
Oh,
It
okay.
sleep better at night.
Well, and I know red light is so beneficial for aches and pains and arthritis and
Yeah.
so much inflammation and stuff like that. So you told me when you were on these 40 plus meds, you were like a zombie and
Yeah.
you just had to get yourself off of them. How long did it take you to get yourself off of everything you could?
Not off. I kind of wean myself off because, like, if you just stop dead,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
yeah, you have to watch. Because, like, I told my therapist, I'm like, you know what? I started noticing kidney issues. I started noticing shortness of breath. And then I started saying, well, what are the effects of some of this medicine? Because, like, it's good for you now, but like 8 years later, it
Yeah.
destroys your brain. I mean, it gives you like dementia or brain fog and kidney issues or a kidney shutdown. I went to the doctors and they were like, "You have a bad kidney." I'm like, "How?" You know, I don't smoke, I don't drink. And then they were like, "Well, you were taking, I was on lithium."
Yeah.
And
Well,
I won't lie. I mean, like, I still have it to this day. I used to have a double bridge that the army built in my mouth.
mm,
And when I probably 2 months after I got out of Walter Reed in 2008, it just fell out. It just broke apart.
from the meds.
Yeah, and then, like, I was gonna get reconstructive surgery in my mouth, but, like, that's super expensive, and then some of those places will mess up your gums and
Mhm.
teeth swells. So I was gonna go to the VA and ask them, but you know what? If people go, "Oh, why are you missing that tooth and that tooth?" Well, from lithium. It's proof that your teeth fall out from lithium. So it's very high dosage of
Yeah, and I didn't realize until recently, I feel like kind of like a dum dum, but I didn't realize till recently that all of those meds pass through your liver.
yeah.
And the liver damage and when you don't realize you got to be so careful with what you're taking and now they're subscribing patches for things because then it's subcutaneous and it doesn't pass through your liver if it's a patch.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I've seen
So
that.
they're finding ways to kind of take some pressure off your organs for things, but I think that's so remarkable that you got yourself off of everything that you possibly could.
Yeah,
How long has it been?
so I beat diabetes. I got diabetes when I was 43.
Okay.
So I'm 56 now. I beat diabetes when I was 55 out on the road living in my RV because when you live in an RV, it's different because, like, I didn't have a vehicle with me.
Yeah.
I had that big thing, to Walmart or something, but, like, I kinda stayed away from all that stuff, and just did all the cooking in my RV, you know,
Yeah.
and I was very healthy. I was walking every day. I mean, Pooch still got me walking like 10 times a day with her, but when I was living in the RV, it was, up in the morning at 5, walk around different campgrounds, like, multiple laps at
Mhm.
night, and then the dog still wanted to walk, if I had my little dog for like 12 years. But I think the reason I have my dog so long is I don't get her all those shots. I got her
Yeah.
baby shot. I feed her like, she doesn't eat regular dog food. She eats like vegetable pot stickers, raw vegetable pot stickers. She's a good dog. Like, she keeps me up and moving around. But I'm already preparing myself because, like, I mean, she's very energetic, but like, what's going to happen when the dog dies? Like, how am I going to be? You know?
Yeah.
And I even,
Yeah.
my daughter carries on my legacy. I've interacted with a guy out on the road with my second book, The Broken Mirror, who is a suicidal because he lost his child. He lost his kid. His kid was going to the Navy and he was in the Navy as a master at arms. And he told me that he was in Florida where I was at and in Claremont, and his son was on his way down to MEPS and was in a head on collision,
Oh,
and he
jeez.
lost his son. He was going to end his life that day when I was speaking to him. So I gave him my book. I went back to him about 2 days later and he was in the hospital. And I asked him, I said, I went to his RV and I was like, how's the book going, man? And he goes, your book saved my life, man. He goes, without your book, I probably wouldn't be here right now.
Wow. That's incredible.
That's better than any review that any author could get online. But
And the black edition, is that the you told me it's poetry?
dark therapeutic poetry. I've been writing since I was 19 years old.
And I love that you do it through poetry. And have you always been drawn to poetry?
No, actually, I had a friend. I'll disclose his name. His name is Jason Arnold. He lives in California. So in 1988, when we graduated, so I went to the army. I went to Desert Shield, Desert Storm. I came home, and then I was stationed at Fort Carson. So I had to drive from Pennsylvania to Carson, and he was on his way to California. So I knew in high school he used to write poetry, but I didn't know that he was this type of dude. So he was like, "Hey." When we were driving across the United States, he's like, "Let's stop at this crappy bar here." And it was kind of like a Top Gun thing. He like jumped up on the bar and started reciting poetry, and
Really?
ladies, and
Yeah.
and then we would pretend like we were like movie producers, and we would interview these girls and talk to them, and go all these different places on the way across the United States.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, "Steve, you should write poetry." And I'm like, "Man, I write no poetry." But I did write some poetry while I was in Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and I wrote 96 hours. That's how long the war was. But it's funny that as we talk right now, because like Desert Shield, Desert Storm be going on right now. It's the anniversary of Desert
Yeah.
Storm because I was deployed from December 26th, 90 to May 2nd, 91. So
Mhm.
right now, all the way to May will be like the anniversary Desert Seal, Desert Storm, because I see
Mhm.
popping up all over the place like, "Are you a veteran of Desert Seal, Desert Storm?" I'm like, "Yeah,
It's 25 years, right?
I believe so, yeah," and
Yeah.
they're building a national memorial right now too, so but like I said, the Mirror so it was called The Mirror, and then it was called The Mirror 2nd edition because I rebranded under another another
Mhm.
publisher, and then I went indie, and then Amazon, some people call it the rainforest, like Amazon rainforest. TikTok, they call
Yeah.
for it because you're not allowed to say Amazon on TikTok. When you try to
Oh,
no, you're not allowed to brand on TikTok of other outside agencies, so they call it like the rainforest, or they call instead of what's it, Kindle Unlimited, they call it the KU.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until I was on some of the lives. Like they call them the book besties.
Oh,
They're the ones who they're the ones who, instead of marketing, you send your book to them or they buy your book and they do a live review on your book. I had 6 reviews on that book, credible reviews, and they're still out there. Even the gold cover's still out there, but they took that book down off publication.
who did? Amazon?
Amazon did because of fake reviews.
Oh,
Yeah, and they weren't even fake. They were from 6 credible people that I served in combat with. So I tried to appeal it, and they wouldn't even listen to me, and they were like, "Your book has been pulled from publication." So I was like, "Okay, wanna be a hater?" So I changed the cover to black and white, and I'm sitting here looking at the manuscript right now that I just got from Ingram, where we just formatted everything because the font was very small. I called it the black edition, and I resubmitted it. It was immediately approved, but, and then while I was doing that, all 3 audiobooks have been released now too, so
did you do the read for your audiobooks?
no, but I did the read for my audiobooks at first, but because I have echo in the background of my RV and pooch barking in the background, ACX wouldn't accept it. Through Bookside Press, and that was a hell of a role because it started in last year in November. They told me that it would be done. The mirror would be done. Well, no, actually, the broken mirror would be done by Christmas for people that are struggling. Because the only reason I did audio is because a lot of these people that are drugged up, they're zombies, can't read. They can't comprehend words.
Yeah.
So they would rather, and me, I don't like to read. I mean, everything I did in the army was open book. The only
Yeah.
books I've ever read in my life are my 3 books that I've published.
Right.
But,
A lot of people like audiobooks better.
well, I keep telling people the future is audio and Kindle.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, if they're gonna change our currency to digital, that's the
exactly.
books. I mean, like, you got books right there. You got books
Oh,
right.
yeah. I love the to I think I told you I struggle with reading because of my head injury and everything, but I still love to read and I love a physical book. I haven't been able to jump because I like to take notes and highlight and especially nonfiction, but I haven't jumped on the audiobook bandwagon yet. I'm kind of old school that way a little bit, but I'm getting better. But it is the future. It's the future.
So I recorded everything for my kid just so she could hear because, Gen Zs, they don't read. They
Yeah.
listen. But I found out that my daughter does read. She likes to read like Harry Potter and Stranger
Yeah.
Things. But I recorded everything and all the recordings are on Spotify.
Oh, that's
So
incredible.
they're on 1821 Productions under my podcast.
Hmm.
So if you look at my podcast, you'll start seeing stuff that says mirror, broken mirror, no filter, side each entry. So there's got to be over 200 under, recordings it on Spotify. But then we found a great narrator. If you've ever gone and sampled my book, my narrator is a retired veteran. And
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, he's from California. But what he did, oh, I'll tell you, most narrators will get paid to read from point A to point Z. That's it. All they do is read. There's no inflection. If there's any extra, they charge you for that. So what I did was I sent all my audio tracks to Bookside Press. They sent them all to, damn, what the hell's his name? Man, I forget my narrator's name. I'll tell you in a minute, but I can't believe I forgot my narrator's name. But I sent all my audio tracks to him for the Broken Mirror. And when I listened to, so they sent me like single pieces, like different
Mhm.
to listen to, be like, "Hey, verify these and we'll send them back and tell them to keep recording." So I was like, okay. And I'm like, wow, he kind of sounds like me because of his inflection in his voice. And just recently, I thought it was funny because, like, in No Filter, because he's recorded all 3 now. He's the same narrator for all 3 books.
Okay.
No Filter, it's funny because, like, No Filter has the F word, and that's why it's got the parent advisory in the no for no, like the word no, no.
Yeah.
Circle is the parent advisory logo in a circle. And
Okay.
you can hear him when I say, I wrote in a piece to be like, I wrote something in the book about who the hell wrote this book? And the way he said it, like, it's like he's actually like, it's me speaking to you.
Mhm.
Who the hell wrote this book? It was, me.
Yeah,
Uh, and I even put a piece in there about the narrator, and he thought that was pretty cool, that,
that is cool.
yeah. So, and kind of a shout out because if you look at the covers, Bookside Press is from Canada. So what I did was I threw American Canadian flag on each
Nice.
secretly in there somewhere. So, but yeah, it's coming along. I think more audiobooks are selling than regular books.
Well, yeah, and it's because of the generation difference with everything.
Yeah, the hardest thing is just reaching out to them because like the royalties are hard to get because like they control everything.
Mhm.
Want to break away from them because like if I'm going to go to the Dominican Republic in June and try to live there, I'm not going to be chasing Bookside Press around for royalties, at all controlled under me. So eventually they're going to release me from the contract and give me access because I'm like, okay, I think my audiobook, all 3 books is out there on like 25 different worldwide platforms. And I told them I just want to go down to 10 major, like Apple, Google, the main ones.
Yeah.
What am I getting? Like, I know on Amazon, on ACX, when you sell an audiobook for like $10, ACX takes 60%
Wow.
from an audiobook. Yeah.
It's like air. They're taking 60% of air,
And
basically.
then if you're with a publisher, they take a little bit too.
Yeah.
So, but it's been a journey. I mean, like, and nobody knows this, but any royalties I get goes to my kid's private account.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't get no royalties. None.
Right.
So
When
it's all about the message and the mission.
Yeah. Yeah, and you stay focused with that, and I was gonna ask you too, because I know that you coach and mentor mostly veterans, correct?
I do everybody now.
Do you? What if, like, say I'm somebody reaching out to maybe possibly work with you as a coach or a mentor, what are your, like, initial steps with somebody if they wanted to get in touch with you? Like, how do you, like, because 'cause I'm sure it's customized depending on people's needs, right?
I believe everybody's like a mirror. I perceive people as mirrors. They have the shiny and dull side. But
Yeah.
I don't have a degree. Like I tell people, like when I do lives, I don't have a degree in mental health. I've lived
Right.
I've lived the hell, you know. I'd rather
Yeah.
sit down with somebody that's been through the hell than someone that learned it in a course, you know? And that there's some really smart people out there, but like, would you rather talk to me or a suit and tie guy that sits down and tries to tell you that this medication is really good for you, but I'm the one that's actually had taken it and tell you you might want to look at a different alternative on that. But I think veteran to veteran is a lot better because I think a lot of these people that work for the VA are 9 to 5 people. Because
Mhm.
like at the two that you've heard, there's actually I saw a podcast from the Grunt Style Foundation. They do the apparel with the cross guns on it, rifles. They do stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
seen that. They do stuff for like first responders and stuff. So they have the Grunt Style Club that I'm in, and I was on featured on their podcast, the Grunt Style Foundation. They have millions of followers and thousands of people, but they fight for overprescribing. And I saw a podcast where the founder is an infantry guy. He said that it's just not two, that there's like 11 already this year that have committed a suicide at VA hospitals. 2025 already, 2025 to now, 11 or 12 veterans who have committed in parking lots or in the facility themselves because the VA refused. You know, it's like, okay, I need help right now, but nope, we'll schedule an appointment a month out.
I hear every day from my dad. You know, I ask him questions. Did you get, because he's supposed to be going to PT? No, he goes, I go, why haven't you heard about your PT? He's like, it's the VA. He says this all the time. And it's, I don't know what's going on.
I think a lot of veterans right now want to abolish the VA.
Uh,
Want to abolish the whole VA because, like, I don't know if you know it or not. People don't know this, but like, I'm 100% PNT, permanent and total. But if I go to the emergency room or I go to what's it called, the urgent care,
yeah.
I have to call a number in 24 hours or I pay for it.
Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
The community care. Is that what it is called or something?
Yeah, it's not like I can go in and go, oh, it's covered under my.
Yeah. Because I've had to call for my dad.
Yeah. People don't
Yeah.
know that. People don't know that. But I watch all the YouTube videos of like, so there's a lot of people on YouTube that used to be what are they called? You know, when you go in for your exam for your PNT, like for your evaluation, the PNT evaluators, they got sick of working for the VA. So now they do TikTok videos and YouTube videos and tell veterans exactly what they're doing. So I just saw recently that some of these PNT evaluators have cameras in their windows to the parking lot. So when you get out of your vehicle, they're watching you. Like if you walk in and you walk from your vehicle and like I just talked to a guy the other day and he's like, he went to the VA and the elevator was out of order.
Of course it
And
was.
he had issues with his legs.
So he couldn't use the stairs.
Yeah, but he did use the stairs. And
Hmm.
a PNT evaluator asked him, if you're having issues, why did you use the stairs? Why didn't you just call and reschedule if you can't get upstairs? Why don't you go to another part of the building and take the elevator up, you know? So yeah, they have cameras that watch these patients or veterans. Like if, you know, they go in and act like they got a disability or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I think the worst thing to go into a P&E evaluation is lie because
Right.
they're gonna find out, you know.
Yeah, of course, of
But
course.
people try to beat the system. I mean, like when I
Yeah.
Walter Reed in 2008, I was only 50%.
Mhm.
It took me all the way to 2022 to get 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was 90% all the way to 2022. And my ex-wife was a psych nurse, and she said the day I stepped out of Walter Reed, I should have been 100% because I was crazy.
Oh
Not
my
crazy,
gosh.
you know, I was on edge.
Yeah.
I was suicidal in 2024.
Right. Oh my
And,
gosh.
you know, I wanted to show my wife and my daughter that I meant something, and I wanted to. We were deciding what room we were going to color my daughter's room, and I was going to paint it red. So,
Mm.
but my mom died in front of my daughter at the nursing home. And that inspired me when my father, who beat me to death when I was a child, called me and said, "Hey, I need you to come take care of me because I don't think I'm going to last without mom." So I gave up. I gave my daughter. I just left. I just, whatever clothes I had on, I didn't even take any clothes. I took my government laptop, my vehicle I was driving, and went and lived with my dad and started from scratch. And that's when I think, when I was there and he had the stroke, I had already had like the manuscript done to the mirror. Like it
Mhm.
was all chrome. It was just like different styles of paper and little pieces of paper. When my dad died, I like laid it out on the whole apartment floor and pretended like I was the reader and try to put this thing together. Cause like, you ever read a book where you get to one page, you'd be like, "Oh, this is boring."
Yeah.
Mine, it's not like that. I want to captivate every time until you finally get to the end. So
Yes, yes. Do you and I'll include it in the show notes and on the links and for the
so I could say Linktree or Amazon. So what I did is I built a website through, I forget the website people, but check it out. It's only $7.99 a month and $15 a year for domain and maintenance. Pretty cool, because I sent that out to a bunch of authors, and that company actually came back and said, "Hey, for you doing that, we would like to do whatever we want to design your website the way you want it." So I was like,
Oh,
"Cool."
that's great.
Yeah, so it is Stevo, so it's Stevo 1821 productions.com. So when you go there, you'll see the 3 books, and then my new collector's box series is now there. That's all 3 books combined with a coin, a lapel pin, bookmarkers, a treasure map, a map from like Pennsylvania, Nuremberg, Germany, Fort Sill, Oklahoma, all the cool places that I was at. And then my books are islands too. So, and then
Mhm,
your chest is the broken mirror. I mean, no filter. And I put like a Harry Potter stamp at the bottom with the shield. So
mhm.
at the bottom is my link tree, Spotify, Amazon, IG, YouTube, TikTok. All that stuff is like right down below on the website. So everything is at Stevo1821productions.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll include it all, of course, and I know you're active on socials and things like that, and,
Yeah. I just hit on my 1821 just today. I hit 1.6.
that's wonderful,
Yeah, I'm
congratulations.
at 1.6 there. And it's not a lot. Like, I'm not looking for a lot, because
No, but
when you
it's
have a lot, you can't reach out to people,
yeah,
and
and I know you're very active and you want that one-on-one because
yeah, only been on TikTok for 2 months, and I just hit, was it, 1.1
mhm,
for 2 months. Yeah,
that's amazing.
and
That's awesome.
I love people come out and say, "Hey, we believe in your message. We believe it." I'm
Yeah,
content creator, but everything that I do is on my phone and my tablet. I don't use anything special. A lot of people
yeah.
don't even know that Facebook has an editor, like a little
Oh,
thing, and you can put pictures on top of pictures, like the things that I showed you. I
yes,
on my phone and my tablet.
that's amazing.
Yeah, so
Well, you're an inspiration, and I have all your contact information. I wanna thank you so much for being on this, and I wanna welcome you to the Trauma Rockstar family because 'cause you're a rock star yourself, and your message is so powerful, and how you have so many different platforms to help people, and your story alone is so inspiring for me, and I know it will be for others. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate you being on this.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Just to answer your question on I really don't want anyone to work with me, because I'm an individual, and I believe my message will be global someday. And like I said, I want to interact with people one on one. I don't want
Uh-huh.
a team. I always hear people saying, "Well, we got the team." Well, I don't
Yeah,
for a team. Like, I have on Facebook group, I have the blacklist. I have 3 moderators, and they're amazing. But sometimes I get into it with my moderators because they post their own stuff on there that I don't like, and I don't want to bump heads with people. So
yeah.
I like drama. So I use what I went through to help people out of what they're going through. So
Yeah. And I love that because like you said, you would much rather work with somebody who has been in the trenches literally. You've literally been in the trenches when you served as well as emotionally, physically and everything. So I think that's going to resonate so much better, especially with people that are suffering from PTSD and things like that. So I think it's going to be really strong.
I'm also an author advocate.
Yes, I know you are.
I don't write no more, so the last 2 books were done on my phone, like, I talk to my phone because I have tremors in my left hand.
Yeah, you said you struggle with that.
Everything was done on my phone, but, what I wanted to say was a note to take. I believe anybody that does audiobooks, I don't care if you buy it or not, just go sample it. Go
Yeah.
sample it, and you'll be captivated, believe me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Have an amazing rest of your night.
The content on this podcast revolves around personal life experiences and is meant to serve as a learning tool. I am not a certified therapist or medical expert. This podcast doesn't offer medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're curious about your mental or physical well being, feel free to reach out to a licensed healthcare professional for assistance.